good. I can start sharing it right now.
Yep, I think we're live. All right. Let me.
Yeah, we're live. I see it.
You see it? Okay, good.
All
Okay.
right. Mhm.
Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Each of us are gonna share this out. But while we're getting settled in, be sure to let us know where you are joining us from. We'd love to know who's in the room with us. Hold on. Okay, we got to share location. Share to group.
Let me see.
Share to. Hold on. Should I be sharing this? Hold on. Hold on.
Oh, there we go.
Huh?
I'm just taking a look, making sure I'm in the right place.
I'm going to share. All right. Well, welcome, 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 welcome. We are so excited to be here with you today. This is just, we've just been preparing for this for a while now. And I have to tell you, I am just excited about what's possible for us as Black women right now. There's so much going on. There's so much adversity, but where there is adversity, there becomes opportunity. And so we're here. We're excited. My name is Felicia Davis, and I am the founder of the Black Women's Collective. And we're here today to talk to you about why now is the time for Black women to step up in leadership and why you need to be in the room with us because we are going on tour. And our next stop is in Atlanta, Georgia. We will be there on Saturday, July 14th. We're going to be with you all day from 9 to 5. And we want to make sure that you are in the room. So a couple things before we get started. We'll make sure that you tag a sister who's in Atlanta. We're also going to be going to a couple of other cities. So we're going to be going to Atlanta, New York, Oakland. But for now, we're really focusing on the Atlanta stop. So tag a sister who's in Atlanta, invite her to join us and be a part of the conversation. And then if you can post where you're joining us from, we'd love to know where you're joining us from. And as we get going, please, please, please do post your questions, post your comments, because we want to be able to engage with you and interact with you. We're going to spend the next 45 minutes just share with you from our personal playbooks, from our experiences, from our successes, and, oh yes, our screw-ups, but how we were able to break through in spite of whatever was put before us. And so I'm just going to let each one of us kind of introduce ourselves. We have Sharon Jameson here. Sharon, say hi.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with all of you. I am the founder and CEO of the Jameson Group, and we are a company that provides solutions and strategies to help people soar higher in their professional as well as their personal life. I'm also a speaker, an author, and a minister. And I'm also a corporate leader in a pharmaceutical company. And I've been in the pharmaceutical industry for over 30 years. And I'm so excited to be here with both of these amazing two women to share some of my learnings, my lessons about what it means to be a Black woman in corporate America and how to lead from a place of power and brilliance. So I'm so excited to be here.
I love it, love it, love it. And then we also have Dr. Randy Sanders. Doc, say hi.
Hi, everyone. So excited to be here with my sisters in success. I am Dr. Randy Sanders, founder and CEO of R.L. Sanders & Associates. What I do is professional coaching for women. I work with highly ambitious professional women who want to ascend in their career. So if you're looking to advance in your career, have a conversation with me. I'm always excited to talk to you about how to live your best life today. And it also transitions out of the workforce into your professional life as well, personal life as well, excuse me. I am also a college professor. I love bringing up the next generation of leaders, and I'm also a speaker. So I am excited to be here today to share all of my highs, lows, successes, pitfalls, everything that's on the journey to success. I am here to share with you. So again, thank you so much. And definitely, please let us know where you're from. Post your questions. We are here to serve you on today.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And what a blessing it is to be with you guys. Again, my name is Felicia Davis, and I am the founder of the Black Women's Collective. I'm also a former HR executive. I spent 23 years, all of my professional life, working in HR, and I left my corporate gig 7 years ago. And I tell you, it didn't come without trials, triumphs, tribulations, going from HR assistant to HR executive. I was up against a lot, but I figured out the formula to really break through no matter what. And really, that's what the Black Women's Collective is all about. It's all about helping Black women amplify their vision, their voice, and their visibility in a way that positions them to excel no matter what comes up against them. And listen, here's the thing. I always say that it doesn't matter whether you are a corporate leader, whether you are an entrepreneurial leader, everything that we share in the collective, on the tour, on this live, is all universal. It has universal appeal. And so don't forget to tag us, sisters, share this out, invite sisters to come in and join the conversation with us, because we want to be in conversation with you. And so the reason why now is really the time for Black women to step up in leadership is because really it's just our time, right? Now is the time. But more importantly, even though we are the most highly educated, we are the most ambitious, 44% of us, they did a study by the Center for Talent Innovation did a study and found that 44% of Black women still feel stalled because of things like racial bias, things like not having the right strategic relationships, things like not feeling like they're not supported. And so really, from my experience, again, going from HR assistant to HR executive, I found that there were some key things that you had to do. And once you really mastered yourself in these three areas, your reputation, your relationships, and your results, like when you really get yourself figured out in those three areas, ascension, no matter what ascension looks like for you, it will never, ever be a problem, right? And so that's why we're taking the Black Women Elevate Experience on tour, because now is the time. Like I said, there's a lot we're living in what's known as a VUCA environment, which means there's a lot of volatility. But where there's volatility, there is also opportunity. And so this is the time for us to really step up and step inside the gap of opportunity. If you really say you want to be a change maker, if you really say you want to be a game changer, if you really say you want to be able to transform the lives of the people who are looking up to you, this is the time. Mm-hmm. And so why don't we just start off just having a conversation, either Dr. Sharon, whichever one of you guys want to go first, talk to us about why this is so important for you right now.
Right. I think I'll start. When I think about leadership, when I started in the 1980s, there were few women in the pharmaceutical industry, and there were very few people of color. And when the people of color that existed, that were in the laboratories, they were not in sales and marketing and finance. And that's where you need to be if you're going to be in a corporate structure, because those are where the decisions are made. And so I didn't have anybody to mentor me, to help me understand how to navigate the political waters of corporate America. Right. And so I had to learn that on my own. And what I don't want to do is have the generation come behind me without those skills that you don't learn in graduate school. When I was getting my MBA, I didn't learn the skills, the nuances, how to politically maneuver in a toxic situation. And so I think it's important for people to come and hear from people who've been there, not just read a book, but have the experience. Because I believe there were three components that made me successful. One is that having good communication skills and learning how to speak with authority without being aggressive. Because we are perceived as Black women as being aggressive.
Mhm.
And so how do you speak from a place of authority and power? And I had to learn that, and I had to learn that without some guidance. The second thing I think is important for women to understand is how to be in a corporate setting and handle conflict, because negotiation is all about conflict.
Right.
Feedback is about conflict. Being a leader is about conflict because leaders handle problems. So how do you engage in conflict in a way that leaves people feeling empowered and not deflated and defeated?
Mhm.
And that is not only an art, but it's a science that they don't teach you in graduate school. They don't
Yeah.
teach you that. You get your MBA or you get your PhD, but you don't learn how, you don't get a degree in what I call folkology. You know, you need to have a degree in folkology to be successful. And then the last thing I had to learn is how to connect and who to connect with. I didn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I did not know, it's not networking, it's how to connect on a way that you demonstrate your results, you toot your own horn without looking like you are know-it-all. And
Right.
it's a fine walk between promoting yourself than to being arrogant. And I had to learn what that line was so that I could promote myself. Because this is a lie. This is a myth that women think that your work will speak for yourself. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Your work, you do good work, and then you speak for yourself because people won't see your work. And so how do you do that from a place of power, and how do you do it from a place of being beautiful and brilliant in this feminine paradigm? And I think that was important, and I think women need to understand how to do that.
Yeah. I think I love it. I think that it's so amazing because that was one of my Achilles heels. Like when I was coming up, I've always been a high impact leader, very productive, got the stuff done. But one of the things that got in my way is that I hid out. And so I figured if I just, as long as I'm getting the work done, as long as I'm getting the results, let me just lay low, lay on the sidelines, and it got me in trouble. And after the third time of being passed over, I said, enough is enough. I said, I have got to get in the mirror and figure this thing out. And so I love what you said, Sharon. Thanks so much. What about you, Doc?
Absolutely. I'm going to continue the conversation because I was that woman who received her degree. The traditional route, you went for college, your master's degree, and even your doctoral degree. And I thought, hey, this should speak to my work. Do you see my dedication? Do you see my grind? Do you see how committed I am? And it did not. It didn't. It didn't open any doors for me. And when that was a hard lesson for me to learn throughout my process, but it was a journey I needed to take. So as I was going through that, I was like, oh, you know what? Yes, you're a doctor. That's fine. But doctor means nothing to the people that's sitting at the top of the organization.
Right.
And you nailed it right on the head, Sharon, when you said we need to shift from doing to leading. We expect our technical skills to kind of paint the picture of the type of leader that we are, and it's just not enough. So what do we do next? We do have to speak up. We do have to show up. We have to appear and walk in that power that we possess. And that's exactly what happened for me. I had to have that flip, right? It changed, the shift for me. You know, I was told in one of my organizations I work for that, oh, Doc, when you got your degree, I thought you was going to exit. And I just looked like, why would I do that? I'm a team player. I like it here. I want to be a part of this. But that for me was an aha moment. And it made me kind of take a step back and say, how much do they value me? Or do they even see my contributions? And from that point forward, I wanted to let them know, this is what I have in my bag of tricks. Let me show you my superpowers. And I still was kind of stumped. You know, they put that glass ceiling over me. And one of my favorite movies is Dirty Dancing. And my favorite line is, you don't put baby in the corner. So nobody puts Randy in the corner. You're not going to box me or put a limit on me. And as you stated, we have to formulate those strategic connections and relationships. And that goes beyond mentorship. And I feel like ladies need to learn that. It's great to have a mentor, but we definitely need a sponsor, someone who's going to open that door. When that door is open, run through it. Don't say, don't just peek in, run through it. It's there for a reason. So you definitely have to make those connections. And sometimes if it's not a door that's open, kick in your own door. I had to work around certain individuals to get to where I wanted to go. So you know the power that you possess. Well, excuse me, let me take a step back. You need to know. If you don't know, hopefully by the end of this, you will know the power that you possess within you. And it's time to let the world see that. As Felicia said, women are not leading these companies. We're less than, 4% leading Fortune 500 companies right now? That's 0% with African-American women leading. The time is now. I heard Tracy Ellis Ross when she accepted her Glamour Magazine award, and she said, this is my life. No one's going to tell me how to live it. And that's what I want everyone, all these ladies, to lead with. No one should tell you how to live it. Create your own rules, create your own space. If you want it, go get it.
I want to chime in because you said something that's so key. I think that when we are in corporate America, I think we have to understand that movement will help you gain momentum to move up. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes we always want to look at moving upwards. Sometimes we have to make a lateral move.
Absolutely.
To get the skills and get the expertise and develop the connection so that you can accelerate in the future. So I think that women need to think about that all mobility is not upward. Sometimes it's sideways.
Yes,
and when you do that, you need to do skills. Second thing I think is important is that we got to be careful that we don't get stuck in departments that don't have power. In every company, it's important to understand who and what department holds the power. Of course, it's usually sales because those are the departments that generate revenue. We also have to understand the finances. Those are the ones who are calling the shots and really doing the financials and determining where the money is being spent. But then the next part we have to understand is who is the one looking at acquisitions, because that's another way of positions that are not deemed powerful. For example, HR in most companies are not deemed as a power position.
Yeah.
In diversity, that's not a power position. So when you think about where do we need to lead, get into power positions that impact the bottom line. The bottom line gets you attention. Now, here's the challenge. People don't want that because you're going to take some heat. I remember when I was in a pharmaceutical company, I had half the country and it gave me stress. However, I knew that I had to be visible. So and when you're taking the heat, make sure you have sponsors and mentors. And sometimes the sponsors and mentors are not in your organization. I had people mentoring me in the same industry, but outside of my organization, so that people thought that the ideas and expertise was mine. So you have to be strategic and how you lose your mentors and your sponsors, because sometimes the people in your company are not the ones that you want to show your hand to. And find someone outside that's the same position in the same industry that has the expertise that you want to help you maneuver. So I think we have to open our minds when we think of who can mentor us and sponsor us, because now people jump through companies. In the olden days, you stayed in the company, 10 to 15 years. Now the average is 18 months to 4 years. If that's the case, make sure you're networking outside and show your genius level, because sometimes we don't go for positions because we feel like, we look at the qualifications and we think we only have 30% of the qualifications and we don't interview. A white man can have 10% of the qualifications and he's like, well, I'm gonna get that job. We can have a whole list and we won't go. I'll tell people, if you have 50% of the qualifications, really, if you have 30%, just stretch out there and you just got to pray your way through it and just pray your way through it and invest in training and invest in mentors, invest in coaches. I think one of the best investments I made was to get an outside corporate coach to help me navigate what I call the toxic and treacherous waters of corporate America. But people don't want to do that. But if but when you are, making $200,000 and $300,000 a year, what is $20,000 with a coach? That's just a drop in the bucket. Get you a $20,000, $25,000 coach. You're making $300,000, $400,000 that's without, cars and all the other accoutrements that come with success. Invest in yourself. Stop trying to do it alone. I have never done a position alone, and I have 5 states now with a biotech company. I have a lot of help. And I think it's really important. Now, I don't tell everybody I got help, but I'm going to be moving and shaking and moving from a place of excellence. And I think that's critical.
I think that's a great point, that we are our best investments, and we do have to take time out to invest in ourselves. And something I like to call, a term I like is to use, helicopter coverage. When you were saying you need to get this sponsorship sometimes outside of your company, you have to have that coverage. You need someone to help you navigate those treacherous waters, as you stated. So I think that's a really good point. And to your other point about men, 15%, that's all they have, but they're going to go for it. And I think women, sometimes we get stuck is that we don't give ourselves permission to be our best. We like to be perfect, right? We don't like progress. We want perfection when it should be progress over perfection, right?
Yes.
And we'll have some of the talent, but we want to cross every T and dot every I. And you know what? The ship is going to sail. It's going to sail while we're still sitting
without you, right?
with or without you. So why not bet on yourself?
Yeah.
Why not?
So here's the thing. I love this conversation, because I think one of the biggest barriers that where we actually get in our own way that has nothing to do with any external thing is that we try to operate in a silo. We wear the mask. We don't want to ask for help. And I love what you two have said about, like, really, number one, get clear on what success looks like for you. So there are times when we must have tunnel vision to really get clear on what success looks like for me. For me personally, the thing that really made me ultimately make the decision to leave my corporate job was because although we have an aspiration to excel and be higher, sometimes when you get there, it's very, very stressful. And that's what I found was happening for me. I was in a very, very stressful environment because it was not enough of me and too much work to do, and trying to manage all the political landmines. And I ended up suffering my second stress-induced stroke. And so after I healed from that, after a long period of therapy and that sort of thing, I had to really get quiet and say, okay, Felicia, what does success look like for you now?
Great question.
Right? Without really thinking, looking to the right and looking to the left, being clear around what's going on for me personally and what success looks like for me. And then once you're clear on what success looks like for you, then you have to put a plan in place. And once you have that plan, that's when you have to determine, well, who do I need to know to help me execute this plan, right? And so when it comes to building relationships, one of the things that I always say is that you have to understand the other person's agenda. So whoever you need to be influencing, whoever you're being influenced by, whoever has has authority to co-create your success, right? What is their agenda? Right? Get clear on what their agenda is. And the only way that you can get clear on what that agenda is if you have a very powerful conversation with them to understand what that agenda is, so that you can help create win-win outcomes. So when they win, you win, right? And so I love it. I love it.
Awesome. I was taking a look to see if there was a question.
Yeah, what questions do you ladies have? If you have questions, please post them in the comments so we can engage with you. But while we're waiting for some questions to come through, I talked about the three. Let's just talk a little bit about the day for Black Women Elevating in Atlanta. So we're going to be in Atlanta on Saturday, July 14th. We're going to spend the entire day with you from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And really, I want to tell you what to expect. So we're going to be focusing on three primary pillars, really four, but the main ones are your vision, your voice, and your visibility, and how you amplify and elevate that in a way that strategically positions you to win, right? And then the other piece that's kind of wrapped, that's kind of enveloped in all that is all about the connection, to your point, Sharon. So really developing meaningful, strategic relationships in the right way. And so we're going to spend the day talking about that. And then, of course, Sharon and Dr. Randy, they're going to bring their own piece to it. They're going to be doing they're going to be doing a 20-minute power talk session, so TED-style talk, where they're going to bring their own piece to the conversation. So do you ladies want to share what you're going to bring to the conversation on the 14th in Atlanta?
Sure. I'm really I'm coming up. That's there's a heroine that lives inside of each and every one of us, and it's time for her to shine. So I'm going to really focus on voice, and I'm going to focus on visibility. How are we speaking up? Are you speaking up? What's hindering you from speaking up if you are not speaking up? And become more visible. Okay, it's one thing to go into your 9 to 5 and do your job and then go home. But if you want to move up, and I'm speaking specifically in your career, should you want to move up, you have to show up, and they need to see who you are. Let's face it, Black women are being looked at as soon as we walk in the door.
Yeah,
that's how I take it. All eyes are already on us. So since I already have your attention, let me show you what I got.
right.
Let me show you what I have to offer. So we're going to dig a little deep and try to pull out some of those talents and those gifts that the women have, your superpowers that maybe you don't even know. It's part of your blind self. You can't see it, but that's the purpose of us being in the room, to talk with you, to engage with you, and kind of bring this out of you. So when you leave on that day, you're not going to leave the same way you came, and you're going to feel very much empowered to go into your workplace or go into your next meeting and say, listen, this is what I'm good at, and I would like to take the initiative on this. We're not going to wait for permission anymore. We're not waiting for an invitation. We are speaking up. We are showing up. You're coming to the table. There's no seat for you. You're bringing your own seat to the table.
I love it. What about you, Sharon?
I want to talk about two things. One thing I think it's important is the power of inner strength and healing, because our private pain always shows up in public ways.
Yeah.
And the challenge is when we are not healed privately, the grown-up us that doesn't come to work. The childlike of us come to work. And all those insecurities, all of those issues that we never have dealt with, they show up when we are stressed. And so you have to do the healing, because your private pain always shows up in public places. And I see so many people ruin their careers because they send their little wounded girl to work, and the little wounded girl tries to operate in an adult level, and she sinks her career. And I see a lot of women sinking their careers because they have not done the internal work. What people need to understand is the higher you go up, the more you have to go in. You have to keep cleaning out those wounds. You have to keep addressing your insecurities, because every time we say every level brings a new devil, but the devil is not an enemy, it's an enemy. Enemy. What is you? And so we have to look at that. And I know that from my own situation, because when I was bullied as a child, and I had a lot of trauma. So, and I was always beat up and felt disempowered. The first time I got some power in corporate America, guess what? I became a tyrant. I was bossy. I will fire you. I rule by the pen. Why? Because I had the grown-up me, because I had a little bit of power, trying to heal the wounded little girl. And so remember, power is intoxicating. And so I had to learn that if I was not dealing from a healed place, I would abuse power. And so we got to make sure that we have to heal. We got to go through therapy. We got to go through healing, because if not, it will impact how you lead. Nobody wants to follow a wounded leader. Right. Because a wounded leader is indecisive. A wounded leader is moody. And if you're wounded, you become the stereotypical woman that people expect you to be, versus being a woman who can handle adversity and handle challenge and change and can handle confrontation. That means that you have to be a healed woman. So I want people to understand your private pain shows up in public places. And if we don't deal with our private pain, we will falter in public places. And I think that's critical for people to understand.
I like you have to have some grace under fire.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you have to develop that. And because if not, nobody wants to play with you.
Right.
Nobody wants to negotiate with you. Nobody wants to be on your team.
Right.
And I believe that when we think about people who are successful, they're not the smartest. They're not the grandest.
Yeah.
They're not the most competent. They're not the most technologically sound.
Right.
That we have to to recognize that your people skills is superpower. And I continue to elevate my people skills. And I want to say this before I shut up about these people skills. We spend so much time in our career development trying to be better at a skill, but we don't spend time spending time getting better at our people skills. People never really continue to go to communication classes, conflict classes, language classes, confrontation classes. We just think that because we are better at doing a spreadsheet or putting a spreadsheet together that we're good at communicating it. And we fail, not only privately, but we fail in public. So we got to get our communication skills, because I've never been the smartest one, but I can talk. And I can talk. I'm smooth. I can, I know how to negotiate. I know how to disagree with being agreeable. I know how to be diplomatic without being degrading. And those are skills I had to learn in a classroom and practice on my friends. You got to practice those skills.
Yeah.
And I think that's really critical for people to learn and to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it, because I think that everything that both of you said is so highly grounded in, again, those three pillars: reputation, relationships, and results. So you don't have to be the best, but as long as you have those three pillars like really mastered, like ascension, whatever ascension looks like for you, right? Because ascension could be a vertical move, it could be a lateral move, it could be a move up, right? So whatever ascension looks like for you, as long as you have those three pillars mastered, then there'll be a problem. So we have a good question here. I'm going to read the question from Trina Freeman. Trina says, I'm in a new position as a business development director for a residential mortgage company. I'm already closing loans, getting applications, and gaining momentum, all with very little support and direction from the partners or my branch manager. I'm afraid that in quick growth without a focused plan, I will run into a wall. How can I pause without the pause as to make sure I'm grounded in growth? That's a great question. That's a great question.
Well, I'll take a stab at it, and then I think that a couple of things here. One of the issues is that how do I get people to see my worth? That's what the question is saying. How can people see that I'm not only valuable to this organization, but vital?
Right.
I think it's critical that sometimes we have to not only toot our own horn in a way, but it's how you do that. What is the language around showing people that you're valuable in a place of humility, but not hubris? That's one thing. Two, I think we have to understand as women that sometimes we get in a place of corporations that we have gone as far as we can go in that corporation. And sometimes you develop in one corporation and then you need to leave and start off at a higher corporation. I think in my career, like I said, I've been in corporate America for 33 years. Sometimes I ascend to a level and know I can't get any further. And the best career move is to move out and to move to another career and take all those skills and that training with you. I think we have to be mindful that we just can't keep beating our head against the wall, especially if you're in an organization that is white, male, privilege focused, and they don't value women, they don't value diversity, they don't value results. Because sometimes it doesn't matter if you have the best results, you're just the wrong color or the wrong sex or the wrong sexuality. So we have to be able to evaluate all those different variables to make a decision. I know in my career, when I felt like I hit the glass ceiling and I had performed, I had results, I had relationships, I exit and go somewhere else and start anew. And that's okay. Our career is a strategy, is a long-term strategy. And your long-term strategy does not mean that you have to stay at one company. And I think, because men do it all the time.
Yeah.
They leave 2 or 3 years and leave in 2 or 3 years. But we women, we got to, I want to stay at this company and be seen. Okay, you're not being seen. Now what you going to do?
Trying to make a move. I think that's great. I think the other thing I want to add to that for you, Trina, is that in the meantime, in between time, one of the things that you definitely have to do is have that conversation. And so one of the tools that we're going to be giving you at the Black Women Elevate Experience is called the High Stakes Conversation Template. And this is a tool that I developed when I was early in my career when I felt that I wasn't prepared to go into high stakes conversation and come out with something that would really help me move to the next level. And so we're going to share that template with you. But I would say for starters, because you have no support and no direction, you must take the lead and have that conversation with your branch manager to find out what is the most important priorities for you to be focusing on. Because, it doesn't do any good for you to be wearing yourself out if you're not focusing on the right thing. So get a clear understanding around what's important to him or her, and then go out and execute that. And then, like I said, if you still feel like you're not getting the support that you need, absolutely, then you got to make your plan for moving on to the next level outside that organization. I think it's a great question. Did you have anything to add to that,
Doc, can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
I think before we have that conversation with the person, practice on another person. I've seen people come to the conversation, and the conversation was so convoluted. It was so, for lack of a better word, raggedy. It was not. It was not in a presentation format. It was not in a format to say these are the ROI. We have to practice and I think that's where we can really provide a lot of support, because it's one thing to know what to say, but it's another thing to be in a safe environment where we can practice saying it. We have to practice verbalizing it, because if you don't practice verbalizing it, it doesn't matter if you know what to say. You're going to get in front of there and you're going to be scattered. I tell myself when I'm in a high stakes conversation, I say it, I repeat it, I practice it. I call 3 friends and say, what does that sound like to the ear? To the ear. What does it sound like to the ear? And then they say, okay, Sharon, don't use this word. That word seems intimidating. Use this word. Don't use this word. This word sounds a better word of collaboration. Be careful. Don't go in a high stakes conversation alone. Practice with people who know what they're doing. And that's why I want to say there's so many leadership coaches out there who've never been in leadership. They've never been in high stakes situations. They have never been. And I have to say it because I see so many people saying I'm a leadership and they have never been in that role. And it's one thing to be over a hair salon in 7-Eleven. It's another thing to be in a Fortune 100 company. And the conversation sounds different.
I don't even know what I can say to follow that up, Sharon.
I'm sorry, I just had to say that part. The verbalization,
great information. Only thing I would share is exactly what both of the ladies. I'll just do a quick recap. I do believe that you need to know what is your success plan. Where do you want to go? Because it all starts with you. So where do you want to go? You definitely have to manage your boss's expectations. So kind of figure out their plan of action, and you have to make sure they both align. What you want and what they want. If it does not align, exit strategies are okay. You can definitely have an exit strategy. And my number one thing for ladies is know your non-negotiables.
Oh, good.
Know your non-negotiables.
That's good.
This is not what I'm going to take. You're paying him $5,000 for the same role that I'm doing, and you want to pay me $5,000 less? Oh no, I'll exit. Thank you. Yes. You have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Great question, Tina.
That's good. That's good. So listen, ladies, here's what I want to encourage you. We want to encourage you to do. We have an early bird special going on right now at blackwomenelevate.com. The early bird special, the tickets are only $77. So here's the thing. We're actually going to do something extra special today. It's going to be good until Monday. And my co-partners don't even know that I'm doing this, but we're going to give you an extra $20 off of that $77. So when you go and register today, just put in the code SAVE20, and it'll take an additional $20 off of your ticket. So $57 bucks. Now that's enough for you to get one for you and a sister friend. Yes. So go to blackwomenelevate.com. Use the code SAVE20, and it'll take $20 off of the early bird special of $77, and plan to be in the room with us. We're bringing it. We're committed to bringing what we have from our playbook, but we want to make sure that we are supporting you in the way that you need the most support. And here's the other thing that we're doing. For the first 10 people who register, we have something really, really special that we're doing. We're going to enter the first 10 people who register into a drawing to have a love seat session with the 3 of us. It's kind of like a hot seat, but as Sharon said, she don't like calling it the hot seat. She wants to call it the love seat, and I love it. So you're going to have a private love seat session with the 3 of us, where you're going to bring us one of your biggest challenges that you're dealing with, and we're going to help you navigate through that sucker. So that's for the first 10 people who register. You will go into a drawing, and we will pick 2 people out of those, right? And so go to blackwomenelevate.com to register, and don't forget to put in the savings code SAVE20, and it'll take an additional $20 off of your ticket. So let's see, I have a couple of other questions that have come in. So Crystal Lani says, I found that as Black women, we tend to not apply for jobs that allow us to move up because we think we don't have the skills, but others will apply with less skills and results than you have. You just talked about that, Sharon. She said, how do you navigate that, and how do you know when it's time to take that leap?
You know, that's my favorite term, right? To leap.
I know. So why don't you jump in on that, Don?
Jump in there. I will jump in there. Absolutely. Great question, Crystal. So I'm just going to take a look at the question one more time. You have to know, again, go back to your non-negotiables and your skill sets. You have the skill sets to get you where you want to go, but now we have to work on those people soft skills. And Sharon, she spoke about that a lot. And she said that a lot of women always kind of lean on their technical skills, thinking that's going to advance them. And it's only going to get you but so far. Now we have to speak up. Now we have to, as you said, leap, right? And for me, LEAP is an acronym for me. LEAP is you have to lead, you got to elevate, you got to activate and prosper. So when you lead, you are shifting from doing what you do on a daily basis and letting them know, I am here. I am more than just this instructor, or I'm more than just this secretary, or I'm more than just this receptionist. I have other skill sets that I can offer. Let me show you. Let me show you. Okay. Oh, great. You need someone to take some minutes. I'm going to come to your next board meeting. Do you need some assistance for that? Oh, a networking function is coming up. I can make myself available. Let me go out. Let's take an initiative. We're not waiting for the invitation. And I think we spoke about that earlier. We're not waiting for permission. We are coming to the table. We are showing up and saying, this is what I have to offer. So that's how you lead. And that's how you elevate. When you elevate, that's when you enhance those communication skills. Sharon spoke about that. It's imperative, ladies, that we learn to speak in the workplace. And I love the fact that she said, listen. I love that you did that, Sharon, because what we hear in our mind sometimes is not what's coming out of our mouths. So it's good to practice. When we up-level our communication style, just watch how many doors open. Tone is very important. And a lot of women don't realize that. They think, oh, I took a communications course and I know how to speak. But are you really speaking assertively versus aggressively? Are you being very diplomatic? How are you being perceived against on how you want to be received? So you have to think about those things as you are engaging in conversations. Okay. And then when you activate, I'm going to break down this LEAP thing. We're going to do more of it on the 14th in Atlanta. But the A for activate, you can't do this alone. You can't do this alone. This right here is a group. Like I said, I like to call these women, these are my sisters in success. You need to align yourself, get in the arena of women of like-minded individuals that's going to help you elevate and get you to pull out some more things in you to get you to that next level. And prosper is just living your best life. It's living your best life. Once you own it, it starts in the mind. So once you decide that this is my plan, this is my playbook, these are my rules and what I want to accomplish, you write it down, you make it plain, you put that success plan in place, and all the pieces will start to connect. What I want to preference, or what I want to share with most ladies, is please don't think that your past has nothing to do with your present or your future. It's all connected. I know sometimes we sit around and I'm not where I need to be, or I'm not going to ever be where I want to go because I don't have the necessary skill sets, or I don't know the people to align myself with. What I'm saying to you right now, every part of your journey is supposed to put you right where you are right now. You're connected with us. Come out to the event, get more of this poured into you so you can put those plans in place to move to your next level. First of all, I thought that was a really good question, and I hope I answered it.
Yeah, that was good.
I love the LEAP acronym. Listen to hear. This is such a wonderful time for us.
I think Sharon may have gotten stuck a little bit. That's okay. So listen, ladies, as we get ready to wrap this conversation up, I think this has been wonderful. I hope you guys are walking away with at least one thing that you can go out and do, whether you decide to join us or not. But of course, we want you to be in the room, because I always say you got to show up where you want to go up, right?
Yes.
You got to be in the room. This was just a taste. This was just a teaser. We would love to meet you in Atlanta on Saturday, July 14th. We'll be at the beautiful Georgian Terrace Hotel, and we're spending the whole day with you from 9 to 5. Early bird tickets are only $77, but if you enter the code SAVE20, it's going to take an additional $20 off of your ticket price. And so we want you to join us. Go to blackwomenelevate.com. And there she goes. Sharon, you're back.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I was just kind of telling people where to go. We want to meet them in the room. They got to show up to go up. Yes. And this is just really a teaser. And we'll be doing a couple of more of these before the 14th. But we're excited. We're excited. We're excited. We're excited. So, Sharon, did you want to, I know you were in the middle of something. I don't know if you want to finish what you were saying.
Oh, I don't know where I left off. Sorry about that. But what I was saying is this is a unique opportunity for women, because technology has really leveled the playing field. And when we think about what makes us women, stereotypically, are those skills of vulnerability, of courage, and communication. Now, that's important because those are the ingredients of innovation.
Yeah.
We know how to provide a culture and environment that allows people to be vulnerable to fail. And you only become innovative when you let people fail, when you let people risk trying something new. Because of that, that's because who we are. We have this amazing opportunity to lead and to change the ethos of corporations, to revolutionize a culture that is more vulnerable, that is people can be more transparent, that people can be recognized, that people can have work and family balance, because those are the ingredients that help us be better. It help us to not only lead better, but also leverage who we are better. When we think about leadership, we always have to remember you can buy the head, you can buy the hand, but you have to earn the heart. It's the heart that makes people perform at a higher level. It's the heart that makes people sacrifice and give you 9 to 10 hours. It's the heart that makes people try one more time. We have to understand is that when you can capture the heart of the people you lead, that's when they will give sacrificially. They won't give sacrificially if you just pay them. Money is not everything. You have to be able to say, what do I need to do to touch the person's heart? Because again, head is just the knowledge. The hand is the labor. You need the heart. The heart is what makes the difference. And that is what stereotypically is what we women are good at. But unfortunately, we have started to try to lead like men because that was acceptable, versus pull it back and say, listen, I'm going to honor and walk totally in my femininity. That's why when I go to work with my big earrings, my 4-inch pumps, and my necklaces, because this is my war suit.
Right.
When I get pretty, I get brilliant. I put on my war suit and I say, you know what? I'm about to show up. But I just try to be a man. I try to be a brilliant, beautiful woman because this is my armor. And when you look good and you know you look good, that's when you really perform. That's why it's so important for women to work out too. We have to talk about that. If you look at women who are successful, most women who are successful go to therapy, have coaches, and they work out. What do Black women do? We won't go to therapy and we won't work out. So as a result, you are already starting from a deficit.
Yeah.
I'm ready to fight. I done worked out in the morning at 5 o'clock. I got my lashes on, my earrings on. Bam, I'm ready. That stupid doggone thing. And so it comes from a place of power because I'm coming from a place I love myself.
Right.
And that's why we have to work on the inner thing. Why do you always have your earrings on? Because I want to look good. Because when I look good, I feel good. When I feel good, I do good. And that's important.
That
And
goes
I was going to say that's good because you know you're coming, you're bringing your power, but you're doing it from a place of your feminine power. Because when we're rocking our feminine energy, that's when we show up radiant, magnetic, confident, right? And so I love that. In fact, I just posted some on my page last night or early this morning around really stepping up in our feminine energy, really using that to really show us the way, really letting that lead, letting that determine how we step up and lead.
I love it. I love it. So I guess I'll end with this information. So for me, and for ladies, please don't be so hard on yourself.
Yes.
I think women are just so hard on themselves because we're always trying to be perfect. So you know
Yeah.
what I call myself? Listen, I don't have to be good all the time. You just have to be good when it's time.
Come on now.
You just gotta be good when it's time.
Yes.
Right? I'll leave it there.
It's powerful. I'm gonna preach that on Sunday. I'm gonna have to steal get a good offering.
Nice. So listen, ladies, you ladies know I love you. I'm so glad to be in partnership with you. And for the sisters who have joined us in this conversation, please, if you are in Atlanta or the surrounding areas, or if you know someone in Atlanta or the surrounding areas, go get your tickets today at blackwomenelevate.com. Put in the code SAVE20 and it drops your tickets down to $57. That's enough for you to come in and for you to bring a sister friend with you. Share this live because the recording will be up. So share this far and wide. And we can't wait to see you in Atlanta on Saturday, July 14th. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, ladies.
Bye.